All right. We're here. We're live. We're taking your questions. So if you got questions, get them in the chat box. I'm going to try to answer everyone's questions. We're going to talk about some pow boards. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. Going to answer those questions of yours too. Super chats, get a spin of the wheel. Stacked it against you now. Let's see who tries to win stickers this week. Maybe next week we'll do a big prize. Also, it's spring break and the fucking morons are out. And I mean the morons. So, yeah, they're out there. Anyways, let's see what we got for questions. Try to answer everyone's stuff here. Don't forget to answer the poll as well. We got a poll going on. Let's see. Let's see what else. Okay. And yeah, it's been a horrible season over in Europe. All right. All right. Let's see. Where's the first one here? Man. All right. We got one from D-Rick. Avran, I got an old but in good condition 2007 Flow mainframe for free. Would you ride it or isn't it worth it to take? Was the mainframe like a cheap ass board? I can't even remember. I think it's fucking, what, 16 years old? Fuck. I can't even remember what that thing rode like. All right. Jacob Iverson, have you had a chance to get on the K2 Hypnotist yet? And if so, does it live up to the high-end parkboard hype? Yes. Yes, I've ridden it, and yes, it lives up to that high-end parkboard hype. It's similar to like your Huck Knife Pro, Capita Outsiders. It was the board that was like in the gap in the K2 lineup that needed to be filled, and that's where the Hypnotist definitely comes in. Super solid board, actually. If you're a member of VIP, Angry Snowboarder VIP, early reviews will start dropping, I'm thinking either mid-May or the start of June for that. We got about 50 done so far, and I'm riding like 2 products a day when I can. So more of that coming out there. All right. Ryan Tracy, are Rome Vices a good match for the Yes standard? For the regular standard, yeah, they're fine. If you were talking the standard on ink, it's a little underwhelming of a binding. You'd probably want to bump up to the Katana, but for the regular standard, totally solid. Let's see. Where else are we? All right. Oh, and just so everyone knows, I put a 80-second delay on the chat because I got so far in the weeds last week. So anyone having issues or anything like that with trying to just type out multiple questions, just understand there's an 80-second delay. So, okay. Let's find another one here. Ronnie, Twin Turbo. In the market for some stiff bindings, made the mistake of slapping on soft bindings on my custom X. So depending on how stiff you want, like you could do the now O drive bump down to the drive. You could do the Ride 10 series or bump down to the 9 series as well. Union Atlas Pro. If you're doing K2, there's really nothing there that's super stiff, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's see. With Rome, you'd be looking at the Cleaver. With Nidecker, it'd be the K-On CX, their carbon infused one. So you got some options right there. All right. Okay. John Melring, how are the new versions of the Union Forces feeling? I feel like they're still sitting in the box in the hallway because I haven't got to them yet. Also, have you got to try any public boards yet? There's one new board for public this year that's their directional board and it's supposed to rival the K2 Passport. My local rep said he's going to get me one here in the next week or so. Otherwise, the boards are pretty much the same as what I reviewed last year. So, Stefan H., any thoughts on the women's Nitro Karma? Girlfriend's drop is 5 years old and Starting to look beat. Honestly, no, I haven't looked at it. I've been slacking on reading up on the women's stuff. Okay. Brandon Sawada, 21 Rome Ravine Select 52 for 175 bucks. That's a good deal. Should I steal it? 180 pounds? I mean, you're a little big for the 152. If it was the 55, I'd say go for it. Carver, any overlap with the GNU Gremlin 48? Yeah, plenty of overlap there. Okay, so we got a super chat here from Jason Alba. Am I getting old, or can we add ski mountain bikes or whatever they are to the list of kook crap? I got taken out by one a few weeks ago, destroyed my board, ended the season. I don't understand them. Fucking hate those things. They always try to get on the chairlift with me, and so I have to look at them and be like, no, I have a prosthetic leg. You're not getting on with that fuck toy. Like, they're so stupid and they're always out of control. Like, I don't understand. My favorite, though, of all time was I was up at Steamboat and we were like riding up Thunderhead. And I looked down and I was like, what the fuck is that thing? And they're like, it's a ski bike. And I was like, there's no handlebars. And it literally, it had a fork on the front and like this little handle at the end of a banana seat. And then it had the skis, but it had no handlebar at all to steer it. And the woman didn't have skis on her feet. So it was like a GT snow racer without it. And she was like grabbing the forks, and I guess there was a little bit of movement with it. And I was like, what the fuck is that thing? And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, how the fuck did you make it this far up the mountain? But yeah, fucking scooters and bikes are fucking stupid. They're just fucking stupid. I watched so many people like that can't stop them, and they don't have a brake. They don't, like, what are they gonna do? Fucking hockey stop, and they just do stupid shit with them. There's some douche canoe that always rode the basin, and he had fucking one of those little clown car horns, and he would just ride around squeaking. I was like, that thing's fucking annoying. I remember him trying to get on the chairlift with me once, and I just looked at him and was like, no, you're annoying. Your Rurock is annoying. Your horn is annoying. I want to punch you in the mouth. And he was just like, no one's ever talked to me that way. Well, now they fucking have, asshole. I'm sorry your season got ended, dude. That fucking sucks. Personally, I would have got their name from the fucking, if they stopped, get their information, I'd fucking sue them. Ooh, so close to getting a jumbo sticker pack. You got nothing. Ooh. Hilux Shred TRD Pro. Yo, where's Kevin? I don't know. Doing Kevin things? VHEX. Hey, will you be reviewing the new Hovercraft 2.0? Yes. I'm going to try to pick one up next week. Okay. JNack17. Is the Nitro team a good binding for the K2 antidote? Any other damp options? That's a solid option. If you do Black Label or Cleaver from Rome, you get the carbon base in there, which dampens a little bit better, but you're going to pay premium price for that. So the Battalion Astro is actually a really good one because it has a damper foot pad in there as well. I've really been digging that footbed that Battalion's using on their new bindings. So that would be another option. Oh, God. Cozy Amber 1087. Is the ride Twin Pig a good choice for someone with 10 days on the slope? Can link turns nicely, but no jumps, and most likely not going. No, fuck no, no, fuck. Why? What the fuck? Oh my God, fuck. The last week has been nothing but questions of, should I buy a Super DOA? I've been riding 3 times. What do you think about me getting a LibTech ejac knife or an Orca? I've been snowboarding twice. I can skid a fucking turn. Why would you recommend me a beginner board? I think that I'm going to progress through the fucking roof. I should have a black snowboard of death. Like, who the fuck are you people? Like, was your first car a fucking Ferrari? No, it was a shitbox Honda or a Ford Taurus. Or an Oldsmobile Delta 88. It probably had rust. The catalytic converter probably didn't work or wasn't connected. And it was a boat. You don't need a high-end board if you're just learning. And I see you people out there, and I do mean you people, fucking bent over at the waist, fucking looking like William the Refrigerator Perry about to fucking tackle someone. Just bent over, skidding your turns, sliding around, falling over, not knowing what you're doing. Or my favorite is you get up to speed and you lean all the way back so the nose of the board's wheeling, and then you hit a bump and then you fall on your ass and then your helmet shoots off because you don't put your helmet strap on. That's a whole other thing that I can talk about. Like, no, you don't need this. Like, that is too much fucking board for you. You want to buy a ride snowboard that's going to be good that you can progress on? Go buy the Agenda. You'll be fine. Get a Manic. If you want something a little stiffer, you'll be fine. 10 times on the hill and you're linking turns. And I'm going to bet they look like shit too. Go buy a board that will work at your level but not hold you back as you progress. Fuck. All right. Ronald Newman just got a pair of katanas and love them. Normally ride Stratas. Can you compare the Ultras to the katanas? The Ultras are super soft compared to it. They have a lot more lateral give and toe and heel give in there as well. Basically, if you're trying to compare the Ultra to something in the Rome lineup, you'd probably be looking at more like the Trace in there, just something just because of the way it's designed. In there, like Katana to Ultra, completely different bindings. Like, if anything, the Ultra is actually closer to the Vice than the Katana. MP, aloha. My best friend is addicted to the Orca. What alternative boards and arguments can I bring in to open his mind? Be like, there's a whole fucking world of other boards out there. It's not a bad board. It's not a great board. Like, it has its place. Honestly, the Golden Orca rides better than the regular Orca, in my opinion. But if you really want to do it, be like, look, man, you're limiting yourself. 1, camber profile's limiting you. 2, that side cut's limiting you. 3, the size option's limiting you. Realistically, he probably just needs a directional twin. All right. Let's see. Got one here from Snowboarder de Manche. Hey, I just injured myself. Grade 3 AC joint separation. Does anyone have this before? How long did it take to get back on the slopes? Thanks. You're probably looking at 4 to 6 weeks, up to 8 weeks, depending on the severity of it. You need to go check out Mobility Duo either on YouTube or Instagram, and you can find actual rehab exercises to rehab that. The other thing is collagen peptides are really good for that recovery on there. You don't want to risk it and come back too early. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself more. Okay. Jan Schultz or Jan Schultz. Did you ride the Amplid Singular Twin? And if yes, is it as hard to butter like its directional brother, the regular singer? No, I have one. I have not ridden it. It's sitting in the other room. Valentine. R.I.P. L Stacker's Adventure. Rest in peace. Back from BBC. What? Smash like. Subject Hakonasen is better than you boobs. Pow is fun, but sometimes it's too much. Pow's the best. Smashed Pow this morning. Had 2 solid hours of just riding Pow and then some fucktard skiers. Had to piss me off to the point that I was like, I think I should leave before I kill someone. And remember, subscribe or else. Subscribe or else. Okay. All right. And then we got BZMs with a super chat. Party mod is on the way with the spring sales. Nitro team of the Rome Katanas. Rome on Rome, baby. I got a party mod ride Black Labels, which is basically just a beefed up high back on a katana. It's perfect. Get the katana for that board. You'll love it. Get that lateral play just because of the ASIM wrap in there. It's super solid. So, oh shit. Want yourself a jumbo sticker pack, sir. You know how to get a hold of me. Grab that, claim it. All right. David Dixon's asking, what's going on with that ski patroller hitting the border with his scoot stick? I don't know what that is. So if that happened, I'd love to see it. Someone either send it to my Instagram or email it to me. HW, any opinions on the new United Shapes 24 boards made at the new factory? I read the old cadets are supposed to be a gateway into surfy cruising. Thinking about picking one up. I can't believe they're still a brand. In all honesty, that's where I'm at with them. Scottish 118. Have to set my bindings back to fit my feet. Means I have to be either just wide or just narrow of reference. Reference on the Super Pig matches me exactly. What do you recommend and why? Wide or narrow? Do whatever you want. It's fucking personal preference. It's 4 screws. I mean, if you can't operate a screwdriver, you got bigger problems. I actually had this conversation with someone. I was like, look, it's not hard to operate a screwdriver. It's not hard to play with your stance. Figure out what works for you. And then their argument was, well, everything I just put on reference on everything on every board I ride. And I was like, and what do you ride? And between the 3 boards that he'd ridden, the reference stance went from 21 inches to almost 24 inches. I was like, that's a difference, bud. It's going to ride different on each board. Figure out what your reference stance is for you personally. So like mine's 21.5, 15, negative 12. That's what I ride on everything. It's comfortable. It works for me. Ugh. We got a retracted super chat from our boy Beziums. Let's see what we got here. Remember to ollie those slow signs, people. All right, Birdo. Had a weird moment today. Lost my edge on some ice, so I fell back, which made my head go back hard, and I heard a pop, and then both my arms got tingly, but it went back to normal after 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, dude, you just popped your disc out of place in your neck somewhere and your whole alignment just went out. Fucking great. You're going to feel it even more tomorrow. I love it when I pop my neck like that. It's great. Sometimes my feet go numb. I'm like, oh, I'm paralyzed. Yeah, that's not a good thing. You don't want that to happen at all. So, okay. Oh, Jesus, where'd that go? Okay, where were we? Let's see. Ordnung Sam T. I can buy a Captain Mercury and a 161. I weigh 163 pounds and have a boot size 11. Is it too much of a board for me? I mean, if you're going to go straight free ride with it, it'll work. It wouldn't be my first choice. Caleb Martin, the release on my toe buckles keep breaking after normal use, and I have no idea why. Any ideas on why? Also, would the Union toe buckle work on my lobster crushers instead of getting more replacements? Isn't the lobster crusher just essentially a switchback binding? Which, if it's the case, it's got the shitty magnesium buckles. They're just going to keep breaking on it. Look at the set screw that holds it down, and then look and see if it's got like the hook flap or not on there. As long as the eyelet that the screw goes into is the same size, you can pretty much put any buckle on anything if you're willing to jerry rig it. So I would say go and try it. Jason Robertson, seen the sneak peek of the 24-piece Seeker. Looks sexy. Any changes to it other than looks? Nope. Okay. We got a super chat here from our boy Shylings. Snowing outside and the resorts are closed here. Typical. Anything changed on the Ride Zero this year other than the 93-94 graphic? No, I don't think anything's changed with it. I will have an updated review of it, though. I'm going to actually go and ride it, and we're going to go from there. That's right. Spray skiers. Spray skiers. Brandon Swada, my buddy loves never summer boards and rides a Warlock. He's not your friend. He's an acquaintance. How do I tell him to get a non-kooky board? What board would show him never summer should only be used in the summer? No, they shouldn't be used, period. They're fucking trash. Seriously, anytime someone's like, I love my Never Summer, it's the best thing ever. And then you put them on a real snowboard and they're like, what the hell is that? Like, literally, you could take him from that Warlock and put him on a Rome Warden, right? It's not a high end board, camber dominant, little rocker in the tip and the tail. You could put it on it, have him hit a roller and pop an ollie, and watch how far he boosts, and it will blow his fucking mind. That's it. Like, basically, he wants a board that has no pop, is already dead and lifeless. It's only going to get more lifeless. He likes shitty edge hold that just grips underfoot and over grips and locks you in. Oh, I feel secure. No, you're just stuck because it's in the wrong spot for that edge grip on the actual side cut radius. Ugh. All right, let's see. All right, we got Brendan R. Hi, Avran. My ride C8's died today thanks to the lovely rock season we've had in Europe. Getting old, what would be the damper bindings to get to replace them for all mountain? If you really want, like, okay, so two big options I'd go with would be like the Nitro Team. Just that air pad dampening in the heel, really solid. That's going to just really absorb a lot of chatter. Or I'd look at the Battalion Astro with that foot pad that they have on there. Those would be my two options for you, Brendan. Okay. FYI, I don't look at side cut radiuses. I just go ride the fucking thing, and I'm like, it turns. It doesn't turn. Okay. We got stress type 4. Do unused bindings start to deteriorate after some years in storage? Could get a Burton Malavita from 2018. Never been used. Been in the box the whole time. It depends how it's been stored. So it's only a 5-year-old binding, realistically like 4 years old. It's probably fine as long as it hasn't been stored in excessive heat and then gone from hot to cold to hot to cold. But if it hasn't been used, it's probably absolutely fine. If it was like 20 years old, I'd be worried because those old thermoplastics and shit tend to die, but you're fine. If you can get a really good deal on those, I was like, just fucking go buy them. You'll be totally fine. Remember, drink Malort. Vanessa Vargas, are collagen supplements legit or do they just get absorbed into your digestive tract? Depends on which ones you're taking and your body and stuff. Everyone's different with how that works. Like I use Vital Proteins, I have for years, and I notice a difference in everything like my joint health, fingernails, hair growth, skin. My skin doesn't crack around my hands anymore. My fingernails are solid too. So it's definitely absorbing it. But the big thing is like if you use it long enough, your body just sort of builds up to it. So I try to take like a month off every year where I don't take any supplements. I'm just like, bleh, cold turkey it, and then come back in and go right back to it, just kind of like detox myself. But everyone's a little bit different with everything in there. So uh, let's see, where are we? Just looking for questions. Okay, yeah, if you're just getting in here, you got questions, get them in the chat box, super chats, get a spin of the wheel. We're gonna start talking pow boards here in a minute. I got a nice little setup of pow boards over there. I got the new Endeavor Archetype, the Nidecker gun, there's the new Navigator, there's the new Telos Caldera, the new brand new model, the Telos Deros. There's a Nidecker Alpha APX back there. I've got the Rosinal XV, which what the fuck did Rosinal do to that thing? They made it a fucking turd. I got the Amplid kill switch back there, and the new Battalion Thunderstorm, which replaces the Thunder and the Thunderbolt and the Storm. Like they made it a unisex board. Rode that the other day. Fucking phenomenal. So ugh. Elvin View. Dance hall or ride Peace Seeker for all mountain riding. Well, I wouldn't use the Peace Seeker for all mountain riding. A little stiff and carving oriented, and the dance hall's a little soft and a little more freestyle oriented. You want something in the middle of that. Oh. Ooh. Andrew asks, Wally or Artifact for a pure jibstick? If you're going for softness, Wally hands down is the softest jib board I've ever ridden. And you can just flex that nose and tail and lock a press and it claps around it. If you want something with a little more rigidity, then you go with the Artifact, something that you can really press into. So yeah. McGink, could you add riding clips in your videos? Why? It does absolutely fucking nothing but create more fucking work for me. Oh, look, this guy's riding. I'm going to concentrate on the riding and not listen to what he's actually fucking telling me. Does absolutely fuck all. If you want to be entertained, go watch someone ride. You want to be fucking told how something rides, listen to me. That's where it's at. It does absolutely fuck all and creates more fucking unnecessary work for what I do. It's absolutely fucking pointless. You want to see if I can actually fucking ride? Come out to one of the ride days and ride with me. Buh. So let's see. Haji Safarian, thoughts on the Capita Indoor Survival 22-23. Oh, so your channel is dope. No, it's not dope. It's just a channel. But Indoor Survival is a really solid board. It's actually one of my favorite Capita boards because you can just get on it. It's just like an old school cambered snowboard. You know it's going to pop. Side cut engagement's good. It just works. It's a really good one. I actually have next year's sitting in the other room. I can't wait to ride that. All right, my boy Josiah Bartle sitting down in Denver. What are hybrid cambers like on the GNU Hyper good for? So you got the independent camber zones with that slight reverse. I personally, depending what I'm riding, like groomer, it's okay. It's going to be whatever. But if I'm riding like pow tight trees, you've got that independent steering from each foot with that reverse. So you can create a pivot point when you're going through trees in there. And then what it does is if you're going to be a little more back seat, you still got that camber load. So if you're riding centered, you can still load each one and you're going to get some reactivity in it. But if you're a little more back seat, you're still going to get that pop from just the back foot. It's, in my opinion, it's a good segue for someone that's like not riding like a true setback full cambered board. Like they're like, oh, I'm just starting to get into it. It's a good way to do it. It's also, if you're coming off of like a knee injury, they're actually easier to ride for the most part. The big thing is the side cut has to work in conjunction with that camber profile. So where it comes down and then the reverse is, you need to make sure that the side cut radius and any traction bumps, contact points, magnet traction, and that match up so that you can steer underfoot with that ankle flex. Because if it's put too far in, the board becomes hooky. It's too far out, you can't drive it right either. All right. Alpine Ibex. Spring break crowd is no joke at Breck. Yeah, no fucking shit, dude. Holy fuck. I had to fight for a parking spot at 1 o'clock yesterday. 1 o'clock in the end, and basically made a friggin' parking spot. They are here, they are in force, and they are dumb as shit. Holy crap. They some of the stupidest people I've ever seen. So like today, snowed last night. Road had about 1 inch, 2 inches of ice on it. I was going to Copper. Swan Mountain's closed. Sheriff's office is there. It's just straight closed. Coming up by the hospital, someone, they didn't spin out. They literally launched off the side and friggin' collapsed their car. Dude with out-of-state plates in a Jeep. I can pull you up. Jeep Wrangler. And I'm looking at it and I was like, you got an automatic Jeep Wrangler stock. And he's trying to back up into traffic to pull the car. So he's got to pull it back around and then he's got to pull it up the hill. And I'm like, that car ain't coming up with your little shitty toe strap, bud. Like, you need something better. Ugh. All right, let's see. We got our boy T Turtle 11. My son-in-law recommended that I pair a K2 party platter with the Nitro Phantom bindings for the dampness in my old arthritic knee. Is this a good pairing? Oh, hell yeah. That's super solid. You like, Phantom is a little stiff for the party platter, in my opinion. You could probably go down to a team and you'd be a little bit better. The other thing with the Phantom is the high back is about an inch higher than most other high backs out there. So just be aware of that. But yeah, that's a solid, but he's right with the dampening from it for you. Beziums with the super chat. Never Summer keeps trying to kill Chris Corning. No, his life choices of riding for Never Summer are why Chris Corning is almost dying. If he went and rode for a real brand, he wouldn't fly sideways off the lip of a jump because he hooked. Shop local, people. All right, got a super chat from Brian B. Avran, looking for a binding recommendation for my wife's war pig. Her boot is a 10.5 men's Burton Swat. Damn, that's a huge bitch. She's got a big old foot. Okay, so she's got a 10.5 in a men's. So we're probably going to have to put her in a men's binding as well. For the war pig, if she's not super aggressive, I'd probably go with like a 6 series from Ride. But if she's a little more aggressive, bump it up to the 8. That's a really solid binding choice for that. You could do like a Rome Vice. That's another one. It's not such an aggressive binding, but it's not super soft either. It'll give her a little bit more lateral play on the outside. If you wanted to give her something cool, I would say go check out some of the now stuff, like maybe a Select Pro, Select, IPO Brigade, depending what flex, like any of those, like like IPO Brigade, a little softer, Select Pro, stiffer in there, but you're going to get that play of the skate tech for just driving toe to heel. And so you're going to get more power down into the board as well. So, yep. Yeah, so there's a few options for you, Brian. Ooh, where are we going? Person 3 above gets a spin. So we got Beziums, Brian Swatto. That's our boy T Turtle 11. Let's give him a spin. Let's see what we got. Ooh, do not pass go. All right, we got Navat Panacera. Someone's selling an Endeavor Alpha near me. Whew, never got to ride that. Ever get the chance to try that board? Nope, unfortunately. Looking for a full camber carving board to complement my instrument on Ice East Coast days. Oh, it's camber. It's going to be aggressive. That board is supposed to be like just a bullet train. I think they made it for 1 or 2 seasons, and we're like, this is ridiculous. So, all right. Let's see. Anthony Hawking with the super chat. Looted some new outerwear from the corpse of the house. Is Shred Foundation still looking for old gear for next season? Same address. They're always looking for gear. It is still the same address. Just make sure you put care of Danny Harrison. That way, when it gets to the front office, the door guy knows who it's going to. But yeah, House still has some deals going on, but I think everyone's kind of picked it clean in the last week, judging by how the sales from them went like this and then went straight down. But yeah, not a bad time to pick up outerwear when you're getting an additional 40% off the 20% markdown that they have. So, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Eat your muscle cheese. Okay. Okay. Rob Tab half a stayed. A nab to ride 0 from the house closing sale. Hell yeah, good deal. Coming off a K2 bottle rocket and wondering if the 0 is too floppy to charge outside the park. So the big thing to understand is that there's more camber in that 0. So you're going to have that load of camber. It's going to feel a little looser out in the tips just from the rocker, but you're going to have that load of camber in there. It's not like the width of the bottle rocket, really what gives it its stability in there. It's going to feel a little softer, but outside the park, like if you're not riding a super steep, aggressive resort, like you're on a Midwest hill, something on the East Coast, you're doing like what, 700, maybe 1,000 vertical feet, and it's like a 25, 28 degree pitch. You'll be fine. If you're trying to ride like a 38 degree plus pitch, yeah, it's good. It's gonna leave more to be desired. Ugh. Ugh. Matt Julik, is it best to store snowboards horizontally in a bag or vertical on the wall or in a board rack? Depends on how long you're going between stuff. So, like for me, I just leave my shit sitting all over. But personally, you want to leave it horizontally, flat, bindings off if it's going to be a long time, and you want to make sure it's not in a place that gets too hot, too cold, or has moisture, humidity, anything like that coming in there. You know, treat it like a mogwai. You know, keep it out of direct sunlight. Don't feed it after midnight. Don't get water on it. That's my best advice for that. Brennan Swada, Arbor Terra Twin on your plan for the 2024 season of testing. It was in the ask list. Supposedly they submitted everything. It just depends if the warehouse is going to send it. They've kind of gone radio silent on me, so shit might show up, might not show up, might show up in the middle of the fucking summer. I have no idea anymore with what's going on with Arbor, so this is funny from Luke Postel. Saw a 4-year-old Gilson review today. The guy raved about the board because riding it was just like surfing. I don't think they know they were snowboarding, not surfing. Oh, God. Gilson fanboys. They're like, I like my board because it's fucking loose. And I live on the East Coast. And I'm like, you have no literal edge control whatsoever. You fucking look like you're about to die at any given point, Gilson. The best thing that ever happened to Gilson was their factory burning down, which someone tried to defend the factory burning down when I said it was the best thing that ever happened. They're like, you're horrible. People could have died and they could have been injured in jobs. And I was like, yeah, now they're getting an insurance check and they're getting out of snowboarding. Like the real telltale sign will be when they get that insurance check. If they rebuild the factory and come back to snowboarding, or they take it and leave. If they take it and leave, it proves my theory that it was allegedly not friggin' arson, you know, or it was arson. Allegedly it was arson. But you know, like that company sucks. I love when people like their fanboys will argue with me and be like, they sell tens of thousands of boards, and I was like, how the fuck do they make tens of thousands of boards? They had 2 presses. Even if you're running 3 shifts a day at 2 presses max, they were probably making 14 to 20 snowboards a day. I mean, like that just doesn't make sense when they're like tens of thousands. I was like, for a company that makes tens of thousands of boards, you'd think that they could make them better quality. Ooh, new Renaissance. What free ride board is the dampest and most plow through? Okay, we're going to go there. So there's a few options, but you're really you got to kind of pay for it. So, and I haven't ridden them yet, but I know that they can do it. Like the Ultralight, the Megalight from Nidecker up there, even to a point, the Smoke and the what the fuck is the other one? I didn't grab it. Would do it. Amplid really has some stuff too, like that Pentaquark will plow through just about anything in its path. Same thing with the UNW8. Those are really good. They're anti-phase. The Nitro Pantera comes to mind because that also has anti-phase in it. If you're looking at ride, Commissioner, but you're going to feel it at the end of the day. All that kinetic energy has to go somewhere. It goes right up through the binding, the bottom of your boot, and you end up feeling it in your neck at the end of the night. You know, that Commissioner, yeah. If you can find a ride, Timeless, the aluminum monster. Woo, you're going to feel that one too. Yeah, so, all right. So there's a few options for you. We got a super chat from our moderator, Billy Ray Valentine. Avran can ride Ski Cooper forever. Ski Cooper's so flat and fun. Which I'm trying to figure out when the next meetup is going to be. I think it might be the end of the month. I want to make it through next week at Copper because it's just such a fucking shit show of people. But I want to try to have another midweek meetup, and so we'll go from there. Remember, subscribe or else, people. Johnny Crook, any chances you'll be getting United Shapes boards for reviews for the next year? Nope. They're just kind of hard to deal with. Medium of media. Angry is so good at riding. He's the only one able to keep up with Tommy when he speeds off to snack on those birds. I'm usually sitting next to Tommy on the chairlift, and his mouth is like a vortex. It just sucks him in. It's just like, and he eats them. I mean, also, what birds do you think Tommy's been eating this week? Take the poll in the chat box. So, okay. Tanner Jegum, opinion on the Captain Mercury and the Jones Mountain Twin. So I've been a big fan of the Mercury, but when they changed the side cut, it became a little twitchy. They've redone it for next year. I haven't ridden it yet. It's a good board. It's just like you can get on it and kind of ride everything. I do think that the Mountain Twin is a little more damp and the edge hold is better on it. I do like the camber profile on the Capita more. I just feel like it's got more snap than the Mountain Twin, but the Mountain Twin will get the job done. If those are your two choices, I'd probably push you a little bit more towards the Mountain Twin. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. Curtis 500. Wondering why snowboard rental shops have mostly the big brands and less of their local builders if they have one. Bulk purchases, warranty deals. Because a lot of local companies don't make rental equipment. I mean, if you're going to buy a rental fleet, like I know this working for Vail, like I spent a whole summer putting the SKUs on rental skis and snowboards. Like when you're paying, I think it broke down to, for Burton boards, we were paying something like $28 a board and $21 for bindings. And I think it was like $30 for boots. Like nobody's going to match that. And when let's see, at the time, I think we had 127 stores that I was part of the crew of 12 that we were setting up all the rental stuff for him in the summer and getting it all dialed in. Like, you're going to tell me that, like, let's just say Dinosaurs Will Die is going to be able to make that amount of, like, let's just say 100,000 rental boards? Probably not, you know? So that's the whole thing with it. It's like, you need a whole factory that just makes rental equipment. So like, actually the largest producer of rental equipment in the world is Rosenthal. Then there's Solomon, then there's Burton. I do find it funny that Never Summer's gotten into the rental game and that's what they're doing. And I was like, well, that's about where their boards are. I mean, you pay an extra $80 now so you can get a rental top sheet on their retail board. So why not just fucking make it for them? But no, I mean, it makes the most sense. Like you're going to go in, you get a boot, binding, and board package all in one. On top of the fact, if you count a rental shop that also does skis, like why wouldn't you go with Rosenthal or Solomon? You're going to get an even better price between the skis and the snowboards. That's really what it is. Like rental equipment, I'm not talking high-end demo, just rental equipment. It gets thrashed, it's abused. But if you can get 2 to 5 seasons out of it, like when I lived back in New York and worked for Holiday Valley's rental shop, I think we would typically rotate out the rental equipment. Like boards, I think was every 5 to 7 years or something like that. And I remember when people would damage it and we'd have to charge them. I think the most we ever charged someone was like $85 for a snowboard, because by the time they were like 3 or 4 years old at that point, we had made thousands off that damn thing. So to just charge them that was nothing. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Do not pass go. Sam Dudley, love my battalion party wave, but I'm thinking about getting a war pig for next season. What do you think? It's not as directional as your party wave, so You got that going on. The camber profile is going to be different. You don't have that 3BT in there, so the edge hold's going to feel a lot different. Overall, in my opinion, like the edge hold is better on the Warpig for sure. It just grips so much better. All right. All right. Got another super chat from our boy Carlos Enriquez, moderator extraordinaire down in Snowmass Village. Happy Pow Day, Colorado family. Remember to spray skiers and ollie them signs. That's right. I need to hit you up, actually. I got to come down and ride with you. I'm thinking maybe next week. I owe you. So, yeah, smash pow, baby. Smash pow. Philip Y. Hey, Angry. I went from a Rosinal Templar to a Captain Mercury, and I feel like I can't really turn it as well as I did the Templar. Yeah, it's a stiffer board with a more aggressive side cut. Like you went from the Fisher Price, my first snowboard, to like the mid-level Lexus. that's so the big thing is the reason you're not turning it is you're probably going too slow. Throw a little speed into that thing. The other thing is, my guess is because the Templar has such a small camber zone and more rocker, you're so used to just over exaggerating your turns. You don't have the muscle memory to throw your weight into it. So, what you want to do when you're initiating that turn on the front foot, stick your front hip out over, like past your front insert, drive it from the hip, then initiate from the knee and the ankle, and then do the same from the back foot. And when it's on edge, bend your back knee like your ankle, bring it in so your knee comes in towards your front knee. So you want it to come in like that, and then push down into your ankle and flex the board, and it will drive it. You're going to have a learning curve, bud. You're coming off of a board that's super forgiving and easy to ride into something that actually breaks every bad habit you've developed with that Templar. All right. Brandon Schran, got a new headspace because of your video. Planning on pairing the Union Ultras. Good idea or better options like buttering, jibbing, jumps, and a little bit of carving. Just understand the Ultra is a super soft, forgiving binding, but it will be able to handle a little bit of all mountain use. But for jibbing and buttering, it's going to be great. Jumps, a little bit more to be desired, but it does have good padding. But I think you're on the right track, man. Scottish 118. Any changes coming for the Spring Break Powder Twin next year? I don't think anything changed with it, but I am going to ride it. But they do have the new Resort Twin as well, which I think is what replaces the simulator. I got to double check on that. Eugene Archibald, any extra large bindings other than K2? Nidecker. Nidecker makes an extra large binding. Union does too, but it's only in the certain models, I think. You'd have to double check. They might have discontinued it, but they used to. All right. Okay. Damn, I am in the weeds out here. Whew. Like 15 minutes behind. Okay, stuff I find interesting with the super chat. Picked up a Ride Zero through the house clearance, compared it with the 2024 Atlas bindings. Ooh, that's a little overkill of a binding. I think that's going to be my new daily driver. It put a smile on my face the past 2 days. I sprayed 2 for 1. Hey, at least you sprayed people. Personally, I think the Atlas is a little overkill on the Zero. It would have been a better matchup on the bench warmer, but if you're loving it, fuck yeah, spray skiers, dude. Pick a question for a spin. We'll just take this one underneath from Mom HKH9. Angry, curious what your thoughts are on blazing and boarding. I don't know. Some people do it, some people don't. You're talking to a guy that's fucking sober, dude. I've never smoked weed. True story. Never smoked weed. Ever. But I got a lot of friends that do. And I'm just like, fuck it. Do your thing, man. If you're not causing any problem, I'm not worried about it. I got friends that literally they smoke for a magnitude of reasons and they're fine. Multitude, magnitude. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, Brandon Swad. How often and when should you replace your helmet? Had mine for 2 years and had one good crash with it. Time to replace. Yep, I replace mine every 2 years. I don't even risk it. No, some fucking idiot got into an argument with me or was trying to be like, well, I don't. And I was like, I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm telling you what I do. I replace it every 2 years. Why? If something new comes out, it's my brain. I'm not fucking around with it. One good impact, that helmet's toast. Ugh. All right, BZM's top 5 power boards for Spain skiers. Not Sprain, Spain. Remember to spay or neuter your skiers, people. Spay or neuter them. Well, so if we're going to spay them, you probably need one with a really sharp edge. And I think some of the sharpest edges come out of the mothership. So that would be the Capita Navigator right there. You're going to be able to really be able to just cut in there. They have a really sharp edge. So you got that. And then, next up would be anything from Telus GP87 made boards. They also come with a really sharp edge. Now, maybe you get into a skier that's just got a little bit of girth in there, you need to like really saw into them. So you probably want something with magna traction. So if you're going to do that, you're going to probably look at like your GNU LibTech boards, but you really need, you want to find one with the more aggressive mag, not that less defined. So that really rules out the banked country just because it's got that progressive magna traction. So it's like a little more mellow to more aggressive, unless you're going in deep. If you're going in deep, you start off mellow with it, and then you get in there, and then you're just like hacking away at them lady bits before you spay them. So, you could always do that. Nitro also has really sharp edges too, which means Amplid does because they're made in the same factory. So you got to kind of look at that. Now, what you really want to be doing now, maybe you need, you got some weird bends in there. So possibly some of the side cuts from Solomon, because they have that kink straight angle, that would really work. But remember, people, only you can spay and neuter your skiers. Shop local, people. All right. Kamanalawa Allen, just up in Whistler, saw a few known boards. Know anything about them? Thanks for the great content. So, Known Manufacturing is just down the road from Whistler, and that's Jason Braz's company. Jason designed boards for Endeavor. He owns Fixed Bindings. He owns Ashbury Eyewear. So, that is his trifecta is known boards, Ashbury Eyewear, Fixed Bindings. I think he's working on getting a boot company or something. Dude makes some really good stuff. I've been talking to him for years to try to get some known boards, but just hasn't really worked out. Stuff's quality, and if you're still up there, I'd say just drive down. What is it, Pemberton? Is that the one that's right below? I think it's Pemberton is where they are, or maybe it's Kimball, or whatever the junction is. I think it's at the junction, like the halfway point between Vancouver and Whistler. But yeah, their stuff is super solid. I'm not even answering that. Jay Dutton, what the fuck is up with the heel side slash phenomenon? I've never seen so many people point it, heel side slash, point it, heel side slash, all the way down the hill. No toe side, no style, not slashes. You want to know who to blame? Jonathan Buckhouse, Snowboard Jesus, Half Cab King, all the fucking influencers that do that shit. Oh, look, I did a heel side slash. Woo! No toe side slash. Toe side slash is way cooler. Always fun to get in and just do a toe side slash and make sure you look over your shoulder and spray it on there. But yeah, if we're gonna blame anyone, I blame the fucking influencers. Fuck. And Dope Snow and Guilds and Snowboards. We're gonna blame them too. Mike Lewis, just curious if you ever heard of Hardway Snowboards, local company from Reno, Nevada. If you have, what's up with that? I've heard of them. I think I might have looked at their Instagram once. That's about it. Okay. All right. All right. Sean Carhan, do they even wax and tune rental boards? Wouldn't call it exactly tuning, but when I worked in the rental shop, we'd bust out the belt waxer and I would just fire boards down all the time and I would do that about once a month, maybe. For edges, No. We would tune them in the off season before the start of the season, and we would run them over the belt. And if the side edge was kind of gnarly, we'd do a side edge. But for the most part, that shit never got tuned. Uh, Patrick Suransky. I thought Never Summer stopped doing rental fleets. We started moving our fleet over to Solomon. Smart choice. Eli's a better rep. But no, they still do because a lot of shops have just discontinued carrying them as retail. So they're still doing it, but I think they only do it with like monster accounts. Lawnby, have you tried the dinosaur will die boards for this year? No. Gino hasn't gotten back to me yet. I'm trying to. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Just working my way through here. I think I just missed stuff. Adam Martin, I mainly rip trees when riding, and I'm stuck between just getting another niche story or moving to the E-Jack knife, running the GNU psych bindings, which are pretty stiff, so wanting forgiveness in the board. If you want forgiveness, I'd probably go with that E-Jack knife with the C3. And there, it's a little more forgiving than the story. And the story is kind of just, it's been like made at so many factories that every time I ride it, I was like, this ride's different every single time. And now it's made at Meditech. Personally, not a big fan. So yeah. Okay. Tanner Jagam, roughly what size of board for a 5'8", 180, probably getting to 190, 200 in 2-ish years. Depends on your boot size, but I would safe bet 57. 157 is a safe bet. All right. Eugene Archibald, have you ever ridden a deviant board with the hardwood sidewalls? They're out of Portland. They have the old presses from Signal. That explains a lot. No, I refuse to ride their boards. I've ridden boards with wood sidewalls. They ride different and they can crack. You have to treat them with a marine level of epoxy. And if it's bamboo or paulownia, you can crush the sidewall. Like it actually compresses. So you have to be really careful. If you go to like a harder wood one, which Winter Stick is doing, they can overflex, and then when they crack, it like splits like normal wood. But yeah, deviant boards, they came out here, they did a trade show, and they were doing the on snow at Copper. And I remember walking by and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I stopped and then I looked at the top sheet of the board, and they hadn't cleaned their cassette, you could tell. And it looked like they had pressed gummy worms into the top sheet because there was just like these long things. That's leftover epoxy. They're not cleaning it. I like have not been impressed with anything that they do. And I'm just to the point where I just ignore that they even exist as a company. Like it is better for a company for me to ignore them because I think they're bad than to send me something that is just looks like a product sample from hell because it looks like it was made in someone's garage. Yeah, so okay. Birdo, Skeleton Key with Union Ultras currently using Cartel X, but I want a more surfy feel. Ultras will be a little too much. Like that's coming from a Cartel X. You're going to just be drastically over exaggerating all your movements. Go to a Strata from Union instead, or if you can pick up a K2 Lean AT, I think the Lean AT would be the better choice. I think that's going to be more what you're looking for because it sits on that pod system, which gives you more play. But when you need that precision, it's going to be there. And coming from a Cartel X, you're not going to just be like, oh, so much ankle flex. You're going to be like, okay, I need some precision. I'm on a groomer. Oh, boom, I'm back into some pow. Heel side slash, toe side slash, toe side slash, toe side slash, heel side slash. Jess H. Also, were you at Loveland yesterday? No, I was at Copper. But I've heard that there's a doppelganger of me at Loveland. Max Lazola, thanks for the good content as always. Been looking at the Mega Merc in a 56 wide. Any other boards that might compare to that on the cheaper side? Yeah, so let's see. So you're looking like so you're just looking at Mega Merc on a cheaper side. So ride algorithm be a good comparison right there. Basically a beefed up shadow band. I really like that. You could do like an Endeavor board of directors to an extent would kind of fit in there. The Telos DST, still pricey, but not that level of pricey. Nidecker. So first off, the Nidecker Gamma APX, definitely comparable to the Megamerc, but that's True Twin. So you probably want to go more to like the Alpha APX. Might be a little too much though. Let's see. What else is out there that would be really comparable to that? Libtech EJack knife is kind of on there, or even the Rasman. Rasman's really sick. That's a really sick board. I should hype that more. So yeah, there's a few options for you. Subscribe or else. Okay. All right. Rod Kings, 150 plus people watching. And where's the Powboard Fever? All right, we're going to get into it. We got Powboard Fever. Let's go for it, people. You want to talk Powboards? Let's talk Powboards. My personal favorite Powboard, the Endeavor Archetype. And this is the new one. So this one has the new beefed up top sheet on it. They do have a urethane sidewall smooth ride. You do get the channel in there. Not a total fan of the channel, but I love this thing so much. But I'm curious how that new top sheet, because it's supposed to be lighter but more responsive. So that's always a good one. Now, if we're going to talk about new boards this year, Telos has a new swallowtail called the Daros. So swallowtail, but basically has like a DST tip with the cutout shape on this thing. The best way I can describe this is this rides like a swallowtailed, slightly tapered DST. This thing is fun. It floats well, and yet like with the rocker, it's like an elongated nose rocker in there. You can butter around on it, but when you get into like choppy terrain, it pushes up, and then you get that camber section through the middle that really lets you just drive. And then let's see. The new Navigator from Capita, which they did some changes to it. So it's got the new camber. It's got the Resort V2 directional profile in it. So this was the number one POW board for me for last year in the top 5, if you remember that, or for this year, I should say this year, because it's still current year. But it does come up in at 167, just for you guys that are looking for something super, super long. And that's a 26.8 at the waist. But let's be honest, waist width doesn't mean shit. We really need to know what the insert widths are. So companies need to do that. So it is your job as a consumer to bitch at companies to tell them that they should put the width at the inserts, at least at reference stance. But I'm curious how this is going to ride with that new V2 directional. So you got reverse, positive camber, reverse in there. So basically cam rocker. That's what it is. So I'm curious how that's going to ride. I was going to ride that today, but I decided instead to ride the new the Amplid Morning Glory, which friggin' phenomenal choice in that. So and then if we're going to go big boy boards, so the gun from Nidecker. This thing's huge, just monstrously huge. It's a 174, so long. It's got the Nide Active side cut in there, so that actually puts more power down into the edge when you get into firmer snow. Always a solid thing. And then we got the new Battalion Thunderstorm. This replaces the Thunder, the Thunderbolt, and the Storm. They went unisex on this. So you got your slam back inserts on this, and you got your 3BT. Now the 3BT on this is a little more defined in the nose than it is in the tail. This thing floats well. I probably did the best Pow Butter 360 I have done in years on this thing, and it just popped and just did it so well. Stable ride underfoot, like super smooth, cuts through everything. That 3BT though, what I like about that, so is when you're coming into POW, it funnels it out, especially with that side kick. So you're getting like a shape from a boat, funneling it out, so you're not fighting it as much. And then with it having camber, you're still going to get some pop. So we had that one. And then for you guys that love big mountain riding, the Rosnell XV. Heavy as fuck. And for some reason, they fucked the flex pattern up on this thing. They said they made it softer. I got leg burn. I got a leg cramp from it. My ankles hurt. My knees hurt. This board used to be able to cut through chop and chunder with no problems. And this thing sucked to ride. And I rode it on a good pow day. Absolutely sucked. It was getting bucked around. They tweaked the side cut on it, got rid of the mag on it as well. So I got into some ice and this thing just completely washed out. Like, I have no idea why they made this so much softer. They had a really good thing going. This board fucking sucked. It just fucking sucked. So, yeah. Then we got the Amplit Kill Switch, which for any of you guys that have been sleeping on Amplit or don't know who they are, you should definitely check them out. Big European brand. If you're looking for them in the United States, there's 2 places to get them. In-Flight Surf Shop in Southern California or the Splitboard Shop out of Utah. Dean usually sells off his demos and stuff, but In-Flight has a bigger selection, and these are super, super solid. So the Kill Switch is a 158 with a waist width of 26.7. So bigger footed rider can ride this. Slight taper, non-functioning swallowtail, but this thing is slight taper, non-functioning swallowtail, but this thing, I love the way that this thing rides. It's just super damp through the front, so like you can push through everything. That tail just sinks, and then you get that load of camber. So that was another good one. And what else we got sitting here? So Thurs Caldera, super wide in the front, very tapered, 156. A little more surfy. You can get on that back foot, really slash with it. And then when you're in like chop and stuff, that front being wider just sort of skips over the top of it. So what else I got floating around? I think that's, oh, yeah. So the new Stalefish from Rome, it completely redesigned this year, whole new shape. So you do have 3D shaping, and it really comes back. So when you get into POW, this really funnels it back. Plus you have the hot rod in the nose. So that's actually going to give some more rigidity to it, so it doesn't overflex on you. And then it's wider. I rode this in the 57, and this thing just cooks. It's actually like, before you could ride the Service Dog and the Stalefish, and if you rode them side by side, slight differences in the flex, not enough that most people would actually notice it. Now it completely rides different than the Service Dog. So really stoked on how this is. The flax walls work at dampening that kinetic energy. You don't have to worry about it. And then one more for you guys. This is the new Telos Carbon Backslash. So beefier, stiffer, more expensive version. This thing's a fucking missile. Like, volume shifted missile. This is the 48. Kind of wish I rode the 53, but I think this is what they had available in there. Urethane sidewall. It's got that DFD, or as they call it, dual frequency dampening, which I will have an this board, basically, if you've ever ridden a Backslash and you're like, I just need something a little more stiffer, something I could really charge with, that's where the carbon comes in. Fun. Still has the same shape as the regular Backslash. So, but yeah, POW board fever. And I've got more POW boards in the other room. I just didn't feel like dragging everything in for this, but figured that was a good selection for you guys, kind of talk about all that stuff. Ugh. So yeah. So cool. All right, let's take some more questions here. If you're just getting in here, Get your questions in the chat box. I'm going to try to answer them. Super chats, get a spin of the wheel. Answer the poll. Do that. See where we're going. Okay. Ellie Zekaron. Impulse bought the Rosnell Sashimi XV from the house. Way better board than the regular XV. That thing's a fucking turd. But the sashimi, really like that. I normally ride a 51 and got the 52, only option they had for sale for $200 before they died, RIP. And I love it in POW, but yeah, on groomers is painful. You're on the sashimi, which is a completely different board. The sashimi actually rides stiffer than that XV. I would rather ride the sashimi. What you're more or less feeling, though, is because you normally ride a 51 and you bought the 52. I personally would have put you on something smaller just because that's the way that that thing rides. Like I can ride the 52 if I have to. I usually ride like the 56. For frame of reference, my typical POW shape size is like a 60. But yeah, so okay. Let's see. I think I missed a few things here. So we're going to try to scroll up, try to catch a few more. I'm all over the place here. Okay. Let's see. We got the Send It Syndicate with the super chat. What's up? Riding Sweden's biggest resort, Are. This weekend, I have a question. I feel the boards overall have become lighter the last 5 years. Is it just me? No, materials have gotten better. There's still heavy boards out there, but wood materials, milling, fiberglass, epoxy. Epoxy is the big one. Like, as epoxy gets better, you can use less and less of it to bond them together instead of pouring a full gallon in there. So when you start to see it, but yeah, boards are getting lighter and lighter for sure. That's right. Smash POW, people. All right. We got Tommy Bennett in here. Funny thing is, I'm headed to your brother's house for a nice chicken dinner. Do you want me to tell him you said hi? Are you all on talking terms yet? No, I'm not on talking terms with that knuckle child. Dad donated a bunch of sperm, and every one of the fucking brothers that I have are all a bunch of bastard children. I can't believe you're talking to him again. Oh, crazy. Anyways, is it a live chicken? Because I feel like you only eat live chickens, Tommy. Anyways, let's give Tommy a spin. It's good to see Tommy out and about. Also, Tommy, you need to check your footage from yesterday. I know you were filming on the chairlift. Check this side because one of the dudes almost pegged you with a fucking snowball when we were at the top of the park. It just like went whizzing by. So yeah. Oh, you get nothing, Tommy. Okay. OBSF. Hi, Avran. Wondering if there are any differences between the 2020 and 2023 Super Pig. Thank you for the service you provide. Yeah, they changed the sidewall construction in it. And I believe they changed, was it the 20? Yeah, they changed the top sheet too. But the sidewall, I think it's got the carbon sidewalls in the new one, and the old one didn't. Basically, the new Super Pig rides like a slightly downgraded Peace Seeker, and the old one was just more like a War Pig that had snap because it was camber. So that's the two big ones with that. All right. We got Jack Off Beat. Convinced two of my homies to switch to War Pigs this season. Is it passe group name for pigs? Or of War Pigs better, worse than a pod of Orchidorcas? No, you can only ride your War Pigs together on Wednesdays. War Pig Wednesday. War Pig Wednesday. Say it with me. War Pig Wednesday. Which has other connotations. It used to be the night of the week where we'd go and make questionable decisions with saber-tooths. Not cougars, saber-tooths. Big distinction between a cougar and a saber-tooth. Because a saber-tooth is one step closer to being fossilized, and ain't nobody want that. Just saying. Spin again. Oof, you lose. Okay. Carlos Enriquez letting everyone know Tommy Bennett's in here. Spin. Ooh, person 3 above gets a spin. 1, 2, 3. So that's OBSF. Spin. Getting there. remember to shop local, people. Go support your local snowboard shop. They probably actually have some killer deals. Everyone's discounting right now. Okay. Dog drafts. B-sod binding recommendations, which is the black snowboard of death. Between the Arbor Cypress, Union Strata, or Rome Vice. Really? Strata's going to be too underpowering. You'd rather go with an Atlas. Like, you need to bump up for it. Vice, once again, underpowering. Swap it over to the DOD. Cypress might work. So, yeah. Subscriber else, people. Okay. So this girl, boards with the same profile, really that different brand to brand. So would my current Burton flat to rocker beginner board really be different from, say, a Capita flat to rocker? Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo. Okay, let's dive into this one because it can get deep. So I love it when people are like, they have the same profile. Yeah, and they're made in completely different factories. So a board made at Mousen is going to ride different than a board made at Playmaker that's going to ride different than a board made at GP87. And all three of those are made in the People's Republic of China. Well, Taiwan's kind of its own country, so that's Playmaker. But then you take into it if a board's made at SWS in Dubai versus a board made at the mothership, which is Capita's factory. But how about we go to the Nobly factory over in Poland? That's going to ride completely different than when we come over to the United States and we look at a Marhar board. It's going to ride different than a board made at Neversummer than a board made at Mervyn. And while we're at it, let's go down to the Southern Hemisphere and let's just say that we go look at, like, was it Rhythm Snowboards or whatever it is? I think that's what their name is. It's going to ride different. Boards made in different factories and depending what materials they use are going to ride different. So if a board uses Durasurf versus Isosport base, the board's going to ride completely different in there. The flat to rocker, how long is the flat section? How long is the rocker section? Like, that is a big thing. What is their product variance? Because there is a variance on a flat to rocker board. It should be within 1 to 3 millimeters. So is that 1 to 3 millimeters more of a positive camber into it? Like I said, there's a 1 to 3 millimeter variance. That's going to ride completely different. Also, what factory was that Burton flat to rocker made in? Because they've changed factories like 7 times. Was it made in Mousen? Was it made in Europe? Where was it? Was it made down the road at a different factory in China? Like, that's the whole thing in there. What epoxy are they using? What core materials? How is the core construction in there? Just because a board is flat to rocker, you look at it and you're like, oh, okay. And it's going to have some of the same characteristics. It's probably going to be a little torsionally soft underfoot. You're going to be able to do it. It's going to have that ease of entry from the rocker in the nose, but side cut, different. Did they kiln dry their core? Like, what's going on with that there? All of that adds up to changing it. Now, here's one that a lot of people don't know. There was 1.1 season. I rode 8 boards from one factory from 8 different companies that all used the exact same shape and mold. They all rode different and they had a price difference of $200. But they were literally the same board. Same base material, same core, same factory, same fiberglass, same epoxy, probably built by the exact same guy working in that factory. And they all, well, I shouldn't say they all rode different because they did have different carbon layups. That was the big change in there, was the carbon layup. But if you looked at stuff like that, they all rode different, $200 price difference. Or my favorite was, there used to be a website called Illicit Snowboarding, and they tracked down this shitty factory that was making promo boards for multiple brands. Exact same board. The price difference was like $500. Literally no difference in there. So, yeah. Anyways, it's a whole different thing when you start to get into it. Like, one little change, you suddenly go from a Bi-X to a Tri-X fiberglass, the board can be stiffer. You know, you put a little strip of carbon in there, more snap. All of that. So, yeah. All right. So, okay. Let's take this one from Clayton Pressinger. Are Karua boards as satisfying to carve as they seem? Oh, yeah. Putting down on a new deck is pricey, so I don't want to be disappointed. The big thing to understand with Karua is read the characteristic traits of the board and ask yourself, am I that rider? A lot of their stuff overlaps, but the difference is the flex patterns between the two of them. Is a dart going to ride the same as a cafe racer, as a pencil plus, as an auto, as a transition finder? No, they're all different. Read the characteristics of it. The Karua boards turn exceptionally well and they're fun, but if you don't get the right board for the type of rider you are, you're going to not be stoked. All right. Our moderator, Carlos Enriquez, with the super chat. Gotta go, fam. Stay steezy and hit the like button, you damn peasants. It's good advice from him. I gotta hit you up, Carlos. We'll see about me getting down to Aspen next week to ride. It's been a while. I need to get out of the county. Ooh, nothing. All right. Okay. All right. We got Elvar Carmona with the super chat. I've seen the next year indoor survival is going to be a twin tip board and not a directional twin. Are you going to test it? Cheers, Avran. Thank you, man. I have it. I have it sitting in there. We're just getting snow for the next week, so I'm going to go ride POW boards and free ride boards. But yeah, I have one to ride. Where are we going? Ooh. Subscribe or else, people. Gregory 49, did I miss any Megadeth talk? No, I didn't talk about it. Carvey Keitel, why is my Never Summer Proto Ultra a turd? Part of it is because they started listening to fucking idiots on the changes to make, so they made boards for people that can't ride. So in the process, with the way they extended their camber profile and changed their Vario side cut, they put it in the wrong spot. So it rides like shit like that. On top of the fact they use like 2 gallons of friggin' epoxy. So when it starts to break in, it just decambers super fast. I guarantee you, if you take your Proto Ultra and put it on a completely flat surface, the rear camber zone is less high than the front one because you put more load on that rear foot and it's breaking in. So there's that. On top of the fact they overcharged for that fucking rental board top sheet. All right. All right. Let's see. Where were we? I'm working through this. I'm catching. All right. Let's see. Where were we? I'm working through this. I'm catching up to people. I don't know where I am anymore. I'm living in my own goddamn world here. Let's see. Hano, any new Karua reviews like that pocket rocket? My friend's got a pocket rocket that he said I could borrow and take out, so I'd like to get on that. Karua never got back to me. I think they're in like some kind of weird transition with distribution and stuff. I'm going to reach back out to Jeff and see if I can get some stuff. Okay. Gregory 49, will you get on the lib rig? I asked for one, so we'll see if I get it. I got to actually follow back up with my local rep. I get all the lib GNU stuff late, like around the second week of April. So I got some time before I should be getting that, but I do need to reach out to my rep and see if I can get it. But he wants me to get on it. I've been hearing nothing but good things about that board, so I'm really curious because on paper that really looks like something that I would love to ride. So, pick a random question for a spin. Okay, I'm going to take this one from David Dixon. Are all boards made from a wet layup? No. Any made with pre-preg? Yes. Pre-preg will cost more, but will make the lightest boards. So if you're looking at a board made in the United States, North America, they have wet layup. When you start to get over to mothership, pre-preg, Nobly, some pre-preg, some wet layup. It kind of depends on what's there. Metatech has some pre-preg. Most of it's wet layup. SWS, pre-preg. Certain factories in China, it's pre-preg. You can spot the differences. Like when you grab a board and you're like, this is pre-preg, this is wet layup, this is pre. And the big one is look at the top sheet. And if it's got a gloss top sheet, but it's not super thick lacquer coated, you can see the strands of the fiberglass. If you can really see it and it feels a little heavier, wet layup. If you pick it up and you're like, this is light, I can't see the actual layers of, or the cross section of the fiberglass, pre-preg. Pre-preg though, I love it, especially if you can get pre-preg with pre-tensioned, because you're going to get more snap out of the board. Like you're just going to get more snap. That's just a given. Spray them skiers. Wait. Oh, we're bouncing. We're bouncing. Where are we going? Person 3 above gets a spin. So that's 1, 2, 3. It's our boy Philip Y. Well, I'll answer his question too. Also, I ride the Ice Coast. Do you think the Mercury was a good option for that, since I went from a board that has magnet traction and no magnet traction? Keep your edges sharp. Fucking lived on the East Coast till I was 22 years old. The only thing I had was a radial side cut and sharp edges. Didn't have magnet traction. It's actually crazy for me to think that I've now lived out west 18 years. And when I first moved to Washington, I actually bought the LibTech Dark Series with the first year magnet traction. Holy crap, that was aggressive. But yeah, no, it's good to learn how to ride ice without magnet traction. You don't need, it's good to know. Like, you're fine. Just go ride. Just go ride. Just ride. You'll be fine. The more you ride, the more you can get past it. That's right. Shop local, bitches. Okay. BZM's been doing some history dives. How does Kevin Jones ride with his boots like that? Because he's fucking Kevin Jones, man. He's Kevin motherfucking Jones. Ironically, I bought the Kevin Jones Northwave Pro Model boot, and it destroyed my feet. That boot literally destroyed both my feet. So, oof. Person 3 above. 1, 2, 3. That goes to Lawnby. Top 5 spring slasher boards. No. That's how I do things. Ooh, smash pow, people. Matt Roach, my interior plane project Honda Lee has gotten super trashed over time. What's a good replacement? Something with the same characteristics and a similar ride. Wish I could just get another one. Fuck, dude, right? Okay, so what you really want is you just want an old school radial side cut cambered snowboard. That's really what you're looking for. Just good old fashioned, true traditional camber. So Nitro has some stuff in there. To an extent, the Beast is kind of like the Honolulu. It's a little stiffer. The Rome Agent is close, but not quite there, which they do have the new Agent Pro, which might actually be a good substitute for that. Let's see, what else is there? There's it's not the Quan, is it? Or is it the Mate? Dinosaurs Will Die has one, and I don't think it's the Quan. I think it's the Mate, but it might be the Quan. Off the top of my head, those two, really, really solid. Let's see. Oh, Public. You need to go check out a Public, which is it? Dispute or the Disorder? It's the Joe Sexton one. That would be really close to it as well. So yeah, check those out. Okay. Nate Hartzler, have you seen the new Candle by Arbor, and what's that all about? It's Pat Moore's line inside Arbor. So they're going to handle the distribution. He was going to basically start his own company in there. Stiff as fuck. Got to flex it and was like, holy shit, this thing's stiff. Asked for one to ride, so we'll see. Okay, we got Charles with the super chat. Unfortunately, but that I rode the XV and had that same experience. Any boards that are like the old one? So I'm looking for something like it. Amplid kind of has stuff. So like Your Solely Grail is kind of close to it, but it's a little softer. So that's kind of in there. I think like that Nidecker Smoke would be kind of close to it. Not exact. Libtech Retro Ripper, but they got rid of the mag on that, so you're going to run into the same problems with that. Nitro. What is that? It's no, because that's going to be, I was going to say the Mountain, but the Mountain's softer in there. Unfortunately, like, I think you're kind of SOL with things on that. Let's see how this poll's doing up here. What do we got? Oh, pick a random question. I'll do that in just a second. Let's end this poll. 265 votes. What bird is Tommy feasting on tonight? Quail, 21%. Duck, 12%. Pigeon, 24%. African barn swallow, 42%. I knew it. He was importing birds. All right. We're going to take this question from Nam305. Thoughts on the Battalion Goliath versus the Jones Mountain Twin? Okay, so with the Goliath, you got that 3BT, which gives it a little more loose feel when you engage it on edge. It doesn't grip as well underfoot. You get better grip on the Mountain Twin. I do think the pop is better on the Goliath than the Mountain Twin. I think you just get more snap because it's full camber versus cam rocker in there. The Mountain Twin is also a little more damp than the Goliath. So that's kind of everything you're going to get there. Give it a spin here. Oof, where are we going with this? Oh. Do not pass go. Okay. Okay, Hano, am I a monkey for looking at another Karua board when I already have the Cafe Racer Plus? No, because every one of their boards has a different characteristics. If you have a Cafe Racer Plus, that tells me you like speed, you like going fast, and you like laying a trench with it. But if you wanted something a little more laid back, it might be time to go look at like a pencil, or maybe you go to a pocket rocket, or maybe you get a transition finder, or even an auto. I don't know. But each board has its own characteristics. That's what I love about Karua is like you look at it, you start reading on it, and you're like, oh, okay, this kind of makes some sense and whatnot. Oof, nothing. Kevin Castro, thoughts on replacing an aging Burton Nug with a Marhar Lumberjack? I think you're going to like the Lumberjack more than the Nug. Okay. Tanner Jagom, favorite board for intermediates that don't hit much park? Rome Warden. Okay. Already answered that. I don't need to answer that one anymore. Let's see. Where are we? Hamster Coolbean, do you have any insights on the difference between the Rome Renegade and the Freaker? I think it's going to come down to the shaping. Like, I was actually just filming the up close stuff for the Renegade for the new review, and I think it should have the similar pop and everything, but I was hoping to ride it tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to. So, yeah. All right. Dan Kelly finally got a pow day here on the East. Couldn't find a slow sign to Ollie, but managed to spray a skier. Stay hydrated and shred pow. It's good life advice. Spray skiers. Stuff I find interesting with the super chat. Never summer riders should be put in timeout. I've gotten to the point I won't let them on the chairlift with me. I was like, no. There's like this couple today, older couple. They were really weird looking, but they had like, and they were skating with their foot in front of them on Never Summers, and they were just like all over the place. And they're like, "You getting on with this?" And I was like, "Nope." And they're like, "Why not?" And I was like, "Because you look like you're struggling enough." And they're like, "No, you can ride with us." And I was like, "Or I could ride by myself." Been doing that for a long time, and I really enjoy it. Ooh, that's right. Smash that pow. Okay, let's see. Taylor Triplet. Just left a comment on your Yes Hybrid review, but I'm hunting for a new board and currently only ride the hybrid. Looking for something more aggressive with quicker turn initiation. Okay, something more aggressive, quicker turn initiation. Well, let's get you out of the slightly volume shift and get you more into so like Capital Black Snowboard of Death, K2 Alchemist, even an antidote would be good in there. Uh, Ride Mountain Pig if you did want to go volume shifted, even a Super Pig if you wanted to kind of stay in there. That would be really good. If you go to look at Karua, maybe a pencil. Let's see what else out there. Trying to think. Maybe like a Nidecker Gamma if you wanted to go twin asymmetrical. Or you could even bump up to like the Beta or Beta APX. But those are all options for you, Taylor. Okay, what else we got here? Yeah, let's see. Vanessa Vargas, how do I watch Natural Selection? Type in Natural Selection 2023 and it will show up on GoPro, Yeti, Red Bull, multiple options there. Okay, Lucas Bernstein, looking for a little jib board for bashing on the spring urban boarding. Should I bother buying a new or just buy a used board? I mean, I'd buy a used board if you're on a budget. Makes more sense. Run that thing. Check out what Thrift Boards has going on, thriftboards.com. Guarantee you can find something soft and playful on there. Let's see, where are we? Michael Mega is going to Copper for the first time Monday. Usually go to Monarch. What's your favorite lifts and trails? I'm not blowing out any of my special runs, but you know what? Here's what you need to know. East Village, right? There's East Village, Center Village, West Village, and then there's the backside. You're going to park at the peasant lot probably. Here's my 2 cents. Pay the $35 and park in the chapel lot. Pay it. Just suck it up. Buy the thing. You're going to thank me at the end of the day, right? Walk over to Center Village. Hop on the gondola. Get in the gondola cabin. Take that up. Go up, take accelerator up. When you get off, look to your left, look to your right. Decide which way you want to go. All right? If you go to the right, you can always take the T-bar up, loop into that. If you go to the left, there's rendezvous. Just be careful. If you make the wrong choice, it's a mogul field of death. If you kind of loop down and around, you'll figure it out from there. Basically, then you go down, hit the Super B lift. If you're in center and you're going to go get on the American Flyer, or as we call it, the American Dyer, be prepared for that thing to stop every 10 inches. Seriously, spring break in full effect. It's going to suck ass. All right. Sierra chair, always a good one. Check the terrain off of that. You'll figure it out when you get up there. If you find yourself way out in West Village, do not get on the Kokomo lift. It's very slow. You do not need to be there at all. Woodward Express is the park chair. Remember that. Oblige the locals. Don't be a douche canoe. You'll be fine. Okay. Alex Plathanu, K2 passport okay for a beginner to intermediate? No, fuck no, no, go, no, 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 no. I don't understand you beginners, low level intermediates that are like, I need to buy the fucking high end shit. No, just fucking no. Okay. Let's see. Jaime J24. Avran, got my 16-year-old brother into riding, and he's currently using my old Rider's Choice 151.5. Well, I find him another board. Boys, 6 feet, 148 pounds, and size 11 DC boot. What board would you recommend? Just got him in. Here's what I do, man. He's 148 pounds with a size 11. He's going to need something a little bit wider. He's 16 years old. He's going to be eating like a goddamn horse. He's going to pack some weight on here in the next couple of years. Here's what I do. Go grab him a 157 Rome Warden or the 155 Wide Ride Agenda or the Zero. You'll be fine on either of those. I think those 3 options would be great for him. So let's see. Luchaos, have you ever rode at Sunlight in Glenwood? I haven't. I've driven past it. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Eugene Archibald, I want to try a Karua Pintonic 172. I do too. I'm wondering if it turns like a shorter board like they claim. It does. I had my 69 wide Jones flagship out in the 8-foot deep pow. What has the best float for 270 pounds? Oof, you're a big boy. You're a big boy. Dude, you're going to need something like that. I'd almost say, what's the largest size dart that they make? Was that like 60, 66, something like that? That would be one to consider. Even a black snowboard of death would be fine. I mean, you're on a 69 wide Jones flagship. That thing's solid too. Like that thing comes like it's a big boy board. You'd be fine with it. Red Corey Cat, thoughts on the Burton Genesis step-on bindings with the Burton Photon boot? Well, you're really trying to limit yourself with your boot options, aren't you? The best boot's the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. If that Photon doesn't fit you, what other option you got for step-on? Not much. Why limit yourself? Let's see. All Out Productions. What are your thoughts on the Rome Stalefish for a Tahoe powerboard? It's a little soft, just so you know. Like if you're talking this year's, it's going to be a little soft, even with that flax dampening in there. You got that heavier pow. There's better options out there for you. All right. Okay. Item 9. What's up, Uncle A? Last weekend for Red River, New Mexico, and they're doing a pond skim event. Fuck yeah. Any valuable tips you can give a fellow superior foot rider? Clean your base of your snowboard off. Just strip it. Clean it. Lean as far back as you can that you feel comfortable that you're not going to go ass over tea kettle. When you hit, you're going to want to go weight forward. Go weight back, and you're going to skim in it. Speed is your friend. Andrew is a 25.8 waist width, too big for a size 10 boot. Can get a decent price on a board, but wide is all they've got. You're fine. You're 10. You're on the cusp of wide regular. 25.8 isn't going to kill you. All right. Okay. RJ Gould. Copper was fired today until noon with the Spring Breakers. I left at 11. I was out on the goat path, and this fucking skier family of 3 just stops, and I'm like, I've got a pump to get out of here. It's rocks and fence here. It's rocks and fence here. There's literally one way, and you stopped. And I was like, hey guys, you can't stand there. Like, I've got to get through. And the guy's just like, looks at me, looks back at his kids, and he's like, no. And I'm like, no, do not pass go. And sitting there, and I was like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I'm going to go that way. I can't get through with you fucking blocking it. And I was like, if you can't ride this, you shouldn't be here. And the guy's just like, 3 minutes later, he fucking goes and he's like, I hope you have fun. And I was like, I hope you fucking hit a rock and die in front of your kids. And he just looked at me and was like, oh, you're serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking serious. You people are fucking troglodytes. Like, Jesus Christ. Ugh. All right. Nelson Ayala, 6'4", 240 pounds, size 14 boots. And I bench press couches. Used to ride in a custom X and X bindings, looking at Party Platter, Dance Hall, or Warpig. Which bindings with the board? Okay, out of those 3 at 240 pounds, the Party Platter is going to be the stiffest. The Dance Hall is going to be the softest. The Warpig's in the middle. I'd recommend something like in the 8 series from Ride, probably a C or A8. Probably go with the C. I don't think you're going to have problems with it pulling inserts. At 240 pounds with the aluminum, you'll bend the disc, I bet, and probably pull it. Otherwise, I would say almost like go with the Union Atlas, like a Rome DOD. To an extent, probably like a Nitro Phantom would be good for you too. All right. All right. So, okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, JB Fontaine. Avran, thank you for your channel. Do you have an opinion on the 2024 Captain Mercury? Would my 2020 Stratas work with it? Don't have money for stiffer bindings for the moment. Cheers from Chamonix. So I haven't ridden it. I've heard it's a completely different board. It's supposed to be absolutely awesome. All my friends that have ridden it have just been hyping it. Actually, one of my friends that works here at Underground, he bought one of the early release ones of it. Stratas totally should be fine though for that flex pattern. So you're good to go. Okay, Angelo Papandre. Which one between the Gamma APX, Beta APX, and Alpha APX is the best in all mountain section? Alpha is probably going to be the most balanced. Gamma, you only got one size option. That's the 57. That's the best carving out of the three, in my opinion. It grips better, that asymmetrical side cut, but it's more freestyle focused. Beta is more free ride oriented. So I think you want to go with that Alpha APX. So let's see. Got our boy or Ian. Hashtag spray skiers, stay saucy. That's right. Spray skiers all day. Whew, loser. All right. And we got our boy Nelson Ayala also giving me the super chat. We'll give him a spin. We'll pick a random question and give it a spin. What do we got here? Okay, Jonathan Hushman. Can you briefly explain board sizing? I've seen and heard so much conflicting stuff. I'm size 13 boots, and I've seen recommendations for a 170 wide down to a 160 wide. I don't understand. I understand nuance. Weight. So weight is the big thing. Like, yeah, you got a size 13 boot, but here's the whole thing. If you're 113 pounds and a fucking 140, or you get size 13 boot and you're 140 pounds, that 170 is going to ride you, dude. That's just going to straight ride your ass, right? Like that. So the big thing is you got to look at your weight, your riding style, where you ride, what you're progressing on, if you're going to progress or if you're going to stagnate and stuff like that. If you're a beginner with a size 13 boot, you're 180 pounds, a 158 to a 162 wide is going to be totally fine for you in a beginner board. But let's say you're a high-end rider and you're a freestyle guy, all right? You're 200 pounds, a 158 wide is going to be fine. A 56 wide, but you need to make sure that it's wide enough for that size 13 in there. So like the whole big thing with that is like everyone will be like, oh, it comes up between your chin and your nose. Like, what am I going to fucking eat the goddamn thing? No. Let's think about this. What causes us to glide downhill? Weight. The weight distribution on the board for the most part, right? The other thing that we need to take into consideration is the volume shifted boards where they make them short and wide because it's got the same surface area in there. So like a size 13 boot can fit on a 151 and 154 depending on what make it is from that and how wide it is. Now the big thing is, are you 200 pounds or are you 130 pounds? Like that's the big thing. So you got to kind of be a little more in depth with your research on that. And you also got to find resources that you trust. There's a lot of fucking idiots out there that'll be size 13 boot, 6'4". Okay, you're getting a 170. And you're like, and the dude is 150 pounds. Like it just doesn't work that way. So yeah. So anyways, you get the spin. Loser. All right, Murph just ordered a Rome Ravine Select. I like POW and carving groomers. Did I make a good choice as an intermediate rider? My last board had no liveliness. Hoping this gets me to the next level. I mean, you're going to have a learning curve with it because you bought the Select over the regular. It's a little stiffer, but you get that 3D shaping in the nose. That's going to help funnel out the POW. It's a little stiffer, so when you really drive a carve and that backseat camber, you're really going to be able to crank your knee into the center of that board, push off the tail, and really roop it out. So not a bad thing. So yeah. BZMs, did you, with the super chat, did you ever ride White Pass when you lived up in the Pacific Northwest? No. And the missus wants to know if it's harder to ride the Cascade Concrete than the Colorado. Oh my God. So here's the difference between riding Cascade Concrete and the Colorado Fluff, right? When I moved from Washington to Colorado, I remember the first time I dropped off a rock. I jumped off this rock and I was like, fuck yeah, powder day. I sank right through everything and just hit the bottom. And I was like, what the fuck is this? There isn't that moisture content to pack it down. So you don't get that compression. So when you have to wait till the season's really loaded stuff up, whereas in the Northwest, 12 inches, it's still going to compress 6 to 8 of that in there. It's harder to ride the Cascade Concrete, but it makes you a stronger rider. Colorado, it's easy as fuck to ride POW. Like half the time, I'm not even leaning back. I'm just pushing through it because it's just like 6 inches of the light, fluffy stuff. It really does make you a stronger rider riding Cascade Concrete. Anytime you ride a wetter, heavier POW and you can get on top of it and float, you're good. Like today, I got into some, or not today, yesterday. Yesterday, I was like ripping around and I got into some heavier sun-baked snow, and I was watching some other guy like go past me, and he just fucking pancaked, and he like looked at me, and he's like, "How the hell did you stay on top of that?" And I was like, "Simple. I knew it had been sitting in the sun. I just leaned back and pushed harder into it." He's like, "Oh, I thought that was not what you do," and I was like, "On a normal day, yeah, but it's been baking in the sun, and it's 40 degrees. Like you gotta do different things." So yeah. So let's give you a spin, sir. Tommy B, random fact. He's got a chicken coop, but no chickens. It's weird. Just saying. All right. Math and Flames 00. Avran, what would you choose between the Jones Ultra Mountain Twin, the flagship, or even the Frontier? Riders 5'9", 180 pounds, riding on the ice coast of Quebec, so mostly icy groomers, a little powder. So one, don't need the Ultra Mountain Twin. That's just overkill. Regular Mountain Twin would be fine. More low-level intermediate to solid intermediate Frontier. More high-level intermediate to low-level expert. That's where you go with the Ultra Mountain Twin and the flagship. Realistically, if he's just riding groomers, any one of those three will completely work for him. Charles, how do I make a boot stiffer? Trying to make my nitros last the rest of the season. Like they aren't dead, but they aren't big mountain freeride stiff anymore. So you need to go get some 3M foam. This has been cut to a circle, but you can order it like a self-adhesive foam. You want to get something in there. And what you're actually going to do is trace the tongue of the boot, right? Now, understand this is going to suck up volume and make the boot tighter. So what you do is you trace it to the tongue and don't cut any cross lines right where it bends up at the ankle over the instep. Then what you want to do is take some of that foam, cut strips, and put it right up against. So, here we go. So if this is the liner, right? You got your liner right there. What you want to do is put a strip that follows kind of along the side there. Once again, going to suck up volume. It's going to make the boot a lot tighter. That's going to slightly stiffen that back up in there. The other thing you can do is replace whatever insole you have and go get a hard plastic insole, like custom molded one without a lot of posting on it. So it doesn't have a lot of give. So it's just more rigid under there. That's going to make it more rigid underfoot. So there's your options. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Berto, I think Kevin's review on the Lean AT from K2 has him convinced, but how's the shock absorption? It's solid. Like K2 bindings are solid. You're good. Okay, let's take this one from Anthony Hum. Angry, if the gamma is too big for me, would the yes grades do for my 160 pound 7.5 boot? Fuck yeah, it would. Okay, Z Smith 815 bought at 157. Rassman, good choice. Like that board. Looking for a good set of bindings. Do a bit of everything. I live in New England, so bent metal transfer, K2 formula, ride C8, Union Strata. If you wanted a little more loose laterally, I'm not a big fan of the Force. The Now Select Pro. So there's your options right there. Georgie Kobe, why is the internet obsessed with carving? I have no fucking idea. People are like, I want to carve like this. And I was like, you snowboard 10 days a year. That's not going to fucking realistically happen. Like, let's just be on it. But I think the big thing is it looks like an attainable thing. Like you watch someone spin a 1440 and you're like, oh, fuck, I can't do that. You watch a guy make a perfect turn. You're like, I can do that. So, All right. Anyways, I think we're gonna call it a day. Been here about 2 hours, and I need to eat some goddamn food. I got to take the dog out for a walk. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. For everyone like that, hope we had a good time this week. It was fun. I hope for you at least. So yeah, I need to get some food. No, David, I'm not getting crab rangoons. It's too busy out there. Cooking chicken cordon bleu, steamed broccoli, and roasted potatoes and carrots. But yeah, so anyways, gonna get out of here. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not gonna miss it. I will have the Nidecker Gamma APX video up tomorrow for you guys at some point. If I don't schedule it tonight, I don't know. Depends how lazy I feel. Also, if you're a member of Angry Snowboarder VIP, just understand I'm like kind of on hiatus with putting stuff in there, but I've got stuff in the works. And if you're not a member, you can always swing over to angrysnowboarder.vip and become a member. Help support everything we do. I'm going to try to get one more ride day this season, or at least try to get one this month, and then hopefully one next month too. Probably going to be Copper this next one. So I'll figure out a date and let everyone know when we're going to do that. And yeah. Oh well. So, anyways, guys, I'll see you in another video.